ready to take the journey. It's been a hard time, but we're gonna go out there. We're gonna test out the waters. Got to make sure that all the aft and the starboard and the port,
jig, we got to jig the lines.
Got to jig the lines. It's a lot to do, so it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Let's go. Hello, and welcome back to a very nautical My ArundelBiz Podcast. I'm Grayson Orfe.
And I'm Allison Akers. We're your hosts from Anne Arundel Economic Development. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. We are just highlighting local business owners that make up the communities that you live in Anne Arundel County. And today we are in Annapolis, America's sailing capital, at the Annapolis Sailing School. So maritime businesses are really important economic base in our county because we have the Chesapeake Bay, which is an important staple in our entire Anne Arundel community. So today we are sitting down with John Cosby at Annapolis Sailing School, which has been around for a very long time. So John, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm John Cosby. I'm the managing director. I am not the owner. I'm the managing director here of the school. And this is our 60th year of teaching sailing. We're celebrating our 60th anniversary.
That's awesome.
So now, with this being your 60th year, you've been around for so long. What goes into that history? How have you managed to keep the business running that long?
Well, Annapolis Sailing School has a great history. It's had 3 separate groups of ownership. The original owners were Jerry and Kathy Wood, who were the founders of the school, and they started a little business at the foot of 6th Street over in Eastport, and it was Annapolis Boat Rentals. It didn't really start as Annapolis Sailing School.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
And they had a little dock there at the end of 6th Street and 3 or 4 boats to rent, and Jerry found that, whoa, I have people that would like to rent my boats, but they don't know how to use them. So
that's important.
It became the chicken and the egg theory.
Yeah.
So at that point, he said, well, I better find a way to teach these people to sail so they can use the boats I want to rent. So that was the real birth of Annapolis Sailing School. It was used, we taught at 601 6th Street over in Eastport. That was the place where all the instruction, the classroom instruction was done. And after that, they'd break up from there, drive around here to our location on Bemby Beach at Chinks Point in Annapolis on Back Creek, where they would jump on the boats and get the actual on the water sailing. So I started working here as a junior instructor, teaching adults how to sail as a summer job in 1977. I was 16 years old.
Oh
This was my first summer job. Worked here for 2 or 3 summers as a junior, then became a senior instructor, so I was teaching in classrooms like the one we're in today. And moved up slowly through the organization to be a marina manager in the early 80s. My wife also worked here, so we were just high school kids and college kids that met each other. We didn't get married till there's been several marriages that have happened through people just working at the same place.
That is so cool.
Oh.
This is one of the greatest summer jobs you could ever wish for. When we walk out later and I give you a tour of the property, you'll see, you get, it's kind of sun and fun and people of your own age. So it's a great summer job.
I can imagine you love coming to work every day.
It doesn't suck at all.
The view is amazing.
Yeah. I do live in Towson, so it is a bit of a drive, but my wife's a researcher at Hopkins, so we live up there. But it's truly just a wonderful place here to work, and I'm in a great surrounding with great people. This place is all built. It's nice to see the boats and the docks and all that, but this place is built on the people that work here.
Now, I know you left for a little while. Is that what brought you back?
Well, I left and actually, you may look, I am pretty Irish kind of English background, I don't tan very well. So so the dermatologists in my life have always said you might want to consider something different. So for a period, I worked in the produce business, and then during the early 2010, 11, 12 area, we got wind that the sailing school was being possibly changed to something else. They were going to take this property and make a very large marina out of it. Still run the sailing school, but also have docks for people. And my wife's family, excuse me, owns the property next door. And this has been a great summer home and vacation place for all of us. So when we found out that this place might not be what we were hoping it was always a great neighbor to have. You're teaching sailing, there's no powerboats, it was kind of a nice quiet little thing. And when they decided they want to change it the other way, my brother-in-law Rick Nelson and his wife Jenny, who is my wife's older sister, got involved and said maybe we should get involved, and they bought the school in 2014.
Oh, okay.
So at that point, they kind of turned to me and asked me if I'd be interested in running the school. So I've had that job since.
So 2014, you've been managing director.
Correct, absolutely.
And you came back specifically for that role?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started as junior instructor, worked your way all the way up to managing director.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool story, and it's one that the work at AAEDC, Annapolis, and our Maritime Advisory Board has kind of, I would say, is starting to look at. We want to look at how are you training the next generation of maritime workers that can stay and build up the maritime industry. So can you talk a little bit about your hiring practices and how you turn a summer job into an entire career?
Sure. It's even kind of more fun than that, is that many of our instructors were students in our kids program.
Oh, wow.
When you guys got here originally, I kind of pointed out on the docks that a bunch of the small dinghy boats were going out sailing with their instructors and their groups. We've had a bunch of instructors that came from the kidship students. It's a summer camp.
Classes.
We were taking classes, and we find, there's the cream rises to the top pretty quickly, and those kids that are really good with other people, I'll go back to, it's the people that run this place. If you find someone that's a wonderful teacher and learns how to get along with others real well, a great listener, even if they're not a great sailor, I can't improve upon the teaching skill, because that's what I want. I can always teach them to be better sailors. So there's a ton of sailors out there. There's not a whole lot of sailors that are good teachers. But if I can find teachers, bring me all you can, and I'll teach them to learn to sail. So it has truly been a rising through the ranks group here. There is a group, if you looked at this, 60 years that have worked since this school has started until now, there are certain members that probably started as 15-year-olds and maybe didn't leave till they were 35, 40, or 50 years old. It's become something they love to do. There's a certain amount of enjoying being with people and, realizing there's a whole lot of, you get it right here when you teach someone how to sail, and they come out and go, wow, this was so cool.
Well, I imagine it ignites a passion within somebody.
It does. And when you can find that passion, bring me those people, because they're the best employees I have.
Do you have any special incentives that you offer to keep them on?
Well,
or
we do
really just the environment?
It's the environment, but when we kind of go to our dormant stage, a little bit dormant, after the boat shows in late October when the days get shorter. We don't teach sailing all winter long. We can do things in classrooms and do theory, but I can't get out on the water. The days are too short, the water's too cold. But so we keep a staff here of about 6 or 7 that work all winter long. Many of them, learn to love the boats we work on, and we have a big shop next door, and they'll work the winter in there just kind of getting the boats all shined up and ready for next year.
Wow. So they're really involved in all aspects
Absolutely,
of it.
yeah. And I will say I'm pretty proud. Maybe there's 2 people that work here out of the whole group that are not sailing instructors, but I would say that 99.9% of what we do are all sailors that work here, and they can help someone. So when you walk out on our docks and you've got a question, about sailing, there's someone there that can answer the question. They don't have to go running and find someone that can answer a particular question. Everybody that works here is a sailor.
Great. So I think that kind of brings up an important resource that actually maritime industry should keep in mind that Anne Arundel Economic Development offers, and we do have a workforce training grant reimbursement. So we help reimburse companies that can skill up their workers and keep them in a career such as the maritime industry, or a career that you have worked your way up.
Those are the kind of things that are really helpful for us. One of the pathways that people kind of look for is becoming captains.
Yeah.
They want to become you're actually a U.S. Merchant Marine officer captain. You're not really an officer, but it's a Coast Guard qualification. And for many of our students and employees that, look for that, if they work for us, for the first year, after they've worked here for a year, we'll reimburse them for maybe the cost of their classes. And those classes can run $1,700, a couple $1,000 just for that class. So if they spend a second year here, we'll reimburse them for the other half. So, there's incentives, because those are the classes that are toughest to find instructors for.
Yeah.
Teaching on the larger boats, doing bareboat and cruising courses.
So then I will say, keep in mind, Keisha Haith in our office, she's our maritime person for Annapolis. But we do have a workforce training program that can reimburse you as you're making sure that your employees get the training.
That sounds like a great idea.
Coming out, yeah.
Now,
we've sat down with a lot of companies in Anne Arundel County, and we've noticed that they're all rooted in community and they're rooted in partnerships. So what type of partnerships do you guys have?
So we tend to, for one, our biggest partner, I suppose, is Brendan Sailing. And Brendan Sailing is run by Jim Muldoon, who runs a large Washington, D.C. consulting educational company. But he also runs a summer camp for kids with learning difficulties, not disabilities, but learning difficulties. And we give them free use of our property, the
awesome.
Facilities, and they're here for several weeks during the summer coming here. We're one of their bases, and then after here they do one down in South County in St. Mary's City, at St. Mary's College. Also, we're involved with Severn River Association, the Back Creek Conservatory. I think they merged with them. We've been, working ways to see how we can help crab. We gave them a little bit of a donation for our 60th anniversary party we had here for the 4th of July. Plus, we're a big employer of kids in this area. If you were to take a peek, at many of the businesses around Annapolis, and you say anybody working at Annapolis Sailing School, there's going to be a lot of hands that have been put up.
Yeah, even I know people that have worked here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you have Yoga on the Dock, right?
Well,
that's with Blue Lotus.
Blue Lotus up here at
Annapolis.
In Annapolis, over in the Bay Ridge Shopping Center.
That's really
They
cool.
come down here 3 times a week and use our big wave attenuator out at the end of the Rainbow Dock, and they do yoga. Then it's kind of floating yoga out in the, you're actually way out in the water, so
That's
it's
so
kind
cool.
of an interesting concept.
It is.
Oh, that is awesome.
All right, well, let's talk about the school. We're here in a classroom. So if somebody visiting Annapolis wants to come have their boat chartered or have a boat chartered, or whether it's an Anne Arundel local that wants to really learn about how to sail, how do they sign up? How do they take these classes? Where do they find you?
Sure.
Tell us about that.
Our biggest customer, kind of where we find majority of our customers, are those that live in the area and they get that view of the water. And when they finally reach the point where they're not having to do soccer every Saturday afternoon and they're running around chasing their kids, they get to that last kid turns 26, gets on his own insurance, and they've got some time. Annapolis Sailing School is a way to learn to get out on the water in a pretty inexpensive way, because sailing doesn't require you to take the boat to the fuel dock at the end of the weekend and drop $300 worth of fuel in it. So if you're interested, we offer a couple ways. We use a Groupon thing, which allows you to kind of get out on the water for $75. It allows you to go sailing for a couple hours and see if you like it.
Nice.
We make sure we get a good instructor out there, a clean boat, and a nice set of sails, and we'll go out there and kind of let you dip your finger into the water. But then when you decide, hey, this is something I'd like to do, our whole business was really built upon what we call the Annapolis way, which was learn to sail in a weekend. And learning to sail in a weekend meant that you showed up here on a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, all ready to get out on the water. We get you up into a classroom like this one and spend about 40 minutes just giving you a little theory, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of language skills, because we talk in a whole different language out on the water.
Yeah.
Starboard's right, left is port. There's your mainsail, your jib. You got, instead of ropes on a boat, they're lines. And if they're lines that control the sail, they're sheets. If they're lines there's a lot.
I think I would need more than 40 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we're good just to give you the input. And then after that, you get out on the water and go sailing. And you'll be sailing for 2 hours, just kind of going over those basics that you learned. Come back for lunch. Send you back, go to the Grumps or the Wet Dog or wherever you're going to go in Eastport, grab some lunch, sit out on the beach, enjoy it, and then come back. We'll teach you another 40 minutes of more classroom and get you out there. Again, sailing until 4, so another 2.5 hour sailing lesson. Most of our students, after a weekend of that, can come here and they can take a boat out on their own. We'd rather you not sail on your own, just one person.
Right.
Sure,
Bring a friend.
Yeah.
Buddy system's always better.
Yeah.
But we've found that with the right amount and mix of theory in a classroom and experience on the boat, that's what we call the Annapolis way. We've been pretty good at getting beginners to be novice sailors out there.
Very cool.
If you want certification, we are an ASA school. That's our governing body. That takes an extra day. So that course is usually Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, or maybe a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It usually takes an extra day to get through the certifications.
And what's your website? Where can
We're
they find
AnnapolisSailing.com.
you? Okay, AnnapolisSailing.com.
And we're open 7 days, so we'll answer your questions on the phone. A lot of people look at websites and just, I hope ours you can get it, but many people just would rather speak to a smiling face on the other end of the phone.
Yeah.
So we're here 7 days a week up until the end of October. Then we'll work Monday through Friday, and we'll reopen at the end of March and do it again.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it was great talking to you, and I just want to know, do you have any last words of advice or guidance for our viewers?
I will notice that here in Annapolis, we've had some accidents recently.
Yes.
So we've had some problems out on the, we had some midnight problems out on the South River. We had a drowning here. Just find a life jacket. Wear a life jacket if you're out there. You don't have to wear the big, goofy orange ones. You go to your West Marine.
I just bought a really nice one from West Marine.
A careful, comfortable life jacket out there. You never know when it's your time to end up falling in the water, and a life jacket's just going to save. So just be safe when you're out on the water.
Absolutely.
We always know that the things that always get you into the emergency room are, here, hold this and watch me do this. You got to step back from that. And when you're out on the water, people get hurt. It's not, I don't want to make you scared of the water. It's a great place to have a good time. Just do it safely.
Yeah.
Favorite marine joke or water-based joke?
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
What'd the fish say when he ran into the concrete wall?
What?
Damn.
And on that note, Thank you for tuning in to My ArundelBiz Podcast. You can find us on ArundelBiz.org, on all of our social media channels. So that is on our YouTube channel, the AAEDC, on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. You'll find us. Just search My ArundelBiz Podcast. We've also got the audio availability on everywhere that you can find audio podcasts.
Yes.
And we hope that you continue to tune in and learn about the businesses that make up your Anne Arundel communities. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
All right, now. Have a good one.